nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none. Passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold, and so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, just at 12, I undid the latch to his door, and I opened it, oh, so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed so that no light shone out, and then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to have seen how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so as not to disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my head within the room so much that I could see him as he lay upon the bed. Would a madman have been as wise as this? And then, when my head was well within the room, I undid the lantern cautiously. Oh, so cautiously, for the hinges creaked. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights, every night just at midnight. But I found that the eye was always closed, and so it wasn't possible to do the work, for it was not the old man that vexed me, but his evil eye. And then every morning as the day broke, I went boldly into his chamber and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a hearty tone and inquiring how he had passed the night. So you see, he would have been a profound old man to have suspected that every night, just at 12, I looked in upon him while he slept. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did I. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my powers, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. To think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea. And perhaps he heard me, for he moved suddenly upon the bed as if startled. Now, you may think I drew back, but oh, no. You see, the room was as black as pitch, filled with a thick darkness, for the shutters were closed, fastened through fear of robbers. And so I knew he could not see the opening of the door, and so I kept pushing it on steadily. When my head was well within the room, I undid the latch of the lantern, and suddenly my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening, and the old man sprang up in the bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I'm the supervisor of children's services here at the Fall River Public Library, and it entails purchasing materials for the children's department. I do story times, outreaches to the schools. It's a very fun and rewarding job. Well, just in the idea of what we have to offer the community as far as the wonderful collection of resources, not only the books, but access to internet services here at the library, movies, our reference department, genealogical research that we offer. There's really an abundance of resources that are available to the public, and the wonderful thing about it is it's all free. Free and available to any of our citizens. The opportunity to visit a library and to make use of the materials that we have, picking up a book, being exposed to the many wonderful authors and the wonderful stories that are out there. And they're not only entertaining for us, but the stories are inspiring. The literature can be informative, and there are so many ways that just picking up a book and opening it up can enrich our lives. And that's one of the major ways that libraries help our communities. Well, I think one of the best ways of promoting literacy is to be an example yourself. Reading books, sharing stories, especially with children at a young age. It's a time to reach them, to show them that books are not something to be frightened of, or that they're not a burden, but something that they can enjoy, that are enriching in their lives. When you pick up a book and you read it to a child and you show that you're enjoying the experience of reading a story, enjoying the illustrations, and sharing that thrill of books, I think that's the best thing that you can do with a young child. Setting that example in that way, and showing the importance that a book represents in your life, and I think it translates over to them. So here at the library, it's one of the most important things we do, I think, with young children, is reading with them in our story time programs, sharing the experience of enjoying a book, and hopefully that's something that will stay with them throughout their lives.